I'd like to take a moment to give a shout out to the American media. I cannot turn on a media outlet without hearing Obama, 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 President Obama, Michelle Obama, her arms, the kids, their healthcare plan, their trips around the world, his Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, and on and on and on. And it makes me, I'm almost unsure of where this can take us because we've never had such intense coverage and such an active administration at the same time, and a Congress who almost cannot keep their breath. So I want to point out how different this is from what we saw in the previous administration. It is true, when President Bush went abroad, people were just, even in his, sixth, seventh, eighth year in office, people were just happy that he didn't mutilate the English language. Now, when President Obama goes abroad, people expect him to have come back with an agenda that saves the world, declares nuclear disarmament, all peace treaties, and credits and all the debt we have to China, and all these things that would be erased. Now, while that may sound a bit maddening, I also see it as a part of a bit of pent-up critique, pent-up anger, pent-up frustration that we had over the past, well, since before Obama. Since before Obama, there hasn't been anyone who had such an agenda, who had so many fires to put out and so many trees to plant at the same time, and who had to be bossy at home because people just want to know what you're listening to. How many people are we talking about? What's on your iPod? We know Bill Clinton playing the saxophone on Arsenio was a gimmick, but this man actually loved Stevie Wonder and said, boop, I'm going to give you a medal because you are America's finest artist. That is also the kind of information, critique, whatever it is about the president that we could want to know, that we could, as citizens, want to engage, that if we want to call them role models, then show us. Now, we have to also not expect for them to be perfect, but we have to also expect that our media will ask. And not just junk stuff. Not just, at this point, I don't care where he was born. No, I don't. He could have been born on the moon, and it would not make a bit of difference to me. What makes a difference to me is that we hold him accountable and that we can hold him accountable. For Bush, it was like, you know what, I don't even want to ask you nothing because I might even understand what you're saying. It just might be another soundbite for another comic book. And that's the difference. So when I say I want to give props to the American media, I'm not being sarcastic. I really wish that this would be the sort of engaged media. Even look at the town hall meetings and how people called out the violence. You heard everywhere media saying, stop, wait a minute, this is not who we are. You have media calling out each other, inviting each other on each other's shows and saying, what's up with this? This is the kind of critique that we lacked, that led us into war, that has led us into war and war and war and war and war over and over and over, so much so that we think that war is normal, that we have to be at war with someone because, after all, war is profitable. After all, we know where we stand in war. After all, we're united in war. Uniting in peace is something wholly different. And it takes dialogue. Again, I don't mean to pick on George W. Bush, but the fact that he couldn't really express himself in English means that to have a dialogue with him, you do have to do a lot of listening. And from what I heard from people in his cabinet, he'd like to do a lot of talking and not a lot of listening. Versus an Obama, on the other hand, which he demonstrates how we have to be, even in our daily lives with each other, to understand someone who has a different opinion than we do, to respect that, wait a minute, maybe this person isn't wrong because they're different from me. Maybe they honestly have a different experience than me, and I could learn something from that, and maybe I have something to teach them as well. It's a whole different mindset than, we heard terrorists and whoever did this they're gonna hear from us. And we got them. That takes some sort of hold up diplomacy. I've said it time and time again, but I really want you to understand how much of this is linked to not only that person's ability to have dialogue in their daily lives and in their leadership capacities, in their roles as leaders and leading people, because they're in many ways they're office managers managing the White House. At the same time, we, the people, have to be accountable to them. I love the critical debates that I hear on talk radio, in the newspapers, in op-eds, and just journalists reporting the news that just keep asking questions. That's what you're supposed to do. Now, if we could get some money behind it, that's a different story. If we could get news outlets, and part of it is that I think that they are also responding to the threat of the people who can reach them through the internet, because I can tweet and Facebook all day, and it can snowball and snowball and snowball, and soon the word gets out and they can no longer hold the wool over our eyes the way that they have done in the past. So yeah, it's a new darn day. And there are no more fireside chats. Click You Can See Obama on your YouTube page. Yes, YouTube/White House or whitehouse.gov, and he has a weekly address. How's that for transparency? How's that for proving that, this is a give and take? I love it. I love it. Facebook page, everything. This is like media on steroids. And this is reflective of who and where we are today. And I could not be any happier because it's not where we are. I don't think that, the fact that Rush Limbaugh is still around, Bob or whatever his name is, and the fact that people, incite hate on national media outlets. I'm not going to start naming names, but the conservative pundits, the people actually incite hate. The people actually, and that's my question for Sarah Palin, and I'm glad that she's back in the spotlight because somebody's going to ask her, so what about that hate speech at your rallies that I saw girlfriend pause, she was like, nigga, kill him. She was like, she paused so the man could repeat it and it could be heard, said nothing to denounce it. That's the power of media because we're going to get her. And I'm not saying get her in the sense that to put her down, but to say you need to be held accountable for this, and we'll give you the opportunity to move on from it. But know that we're coming. But at the same time, we have the responsibility to listen to whatever her answer is and take it. That's the power of media, baby.
All my warrior and boy Jambo boxing this original story man there on the background. Stand fit.